Let's go Hitmen here. Actually got some Calgary Hitmen news to share here, as recently the WHL had their 2020 Bantam Draft here, and also we'll talk about team awards here as the off-season, given with the ongoing situation with the COVID-19 coronavirus here, that the last week of the regular season got cancelled, and the whole WHL playoffs, including World Cup, for the first time ever, have been cancelled here. So we're in the off season a lot earlier than anticipated, not under these kind of circumstances here, but just want to share some news on the draft and the team awards here, as usually I squeeze those in a game recap here, because usually the draft happens later in the season, just before training camp, so I do the video on my preseason, a recap there, and then the team awards used to do that at the end of the season here, but the end of the season was not known until it got cancelled here, so let's talk about that in this video here. So before I get on, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, Hall of Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I mostly do Calgary sports on this channel here, but I also do personal vlogs, attempt at comedy, and I also share my experiences. Let's say I'm on the road or at a sporting event, let's say a Calgary Hitmen game. So that's all I post on my channel here. So if that sounds like you'll be interested to watch, do follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey. You know what you need to do. Just make sure you like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below here. So I think the first thing we'll do is we'll talk about the draft, the Bantam Draft for the Calgary Hitmen, and they selected 10 players in the draft here for 2020 here. There was a few picks that they also acquired in various trades here. I know the Hitmen were much busier at the trade deadline there, if you go back in my Calgary Hitmen game recaps video here. And we'll also talk about one player, Connor Bedard, who was granted exceptional status here. We'll talk about that as well here, as he was picked first overall by the Regina Pats here. But let's look back at some players that were granted the exceptional status here, that they were able to play in the Canadian Hockey League network before they're 16 here. And there's some big names on there that's still panning out to be big names in NHL today here. So we'll see if that could be a potential future first overall pick in a draft here in around 2024-25 here. So the Calgary Hitmen's first pick was in the first round, 12th overall here. The Calgary Flames selected Oliver Tulk as the centerman, who's from Gibsons, British Columbia here. He played at the Delta HA Bantam Prep Green there, so that was the first pick that the Calgary Hitmen selected here. And in the second round, in 34th overall, the Calgary Hitmen selected another centerman in AJ Lacroix, who's a centerman, and he's from West Vancouver at the West Van Warriors Bantam Prep. That's where he went to play his game there. So in the third round here, the Calgary Hitmen had a pick in the third round in the 65th round overall here. That pick was from the Everett Silvertips here in a trade. And there was a right defenseman in Carter Yekimek. He's actually from right here in Calgary, so he doesn't have to go far to go to the Calgary Hitmen. Played for the Calgary NWCAA Flames Bantam team here. So that was the third overall pick here. So the fourth overall pick, the Calgary Hitmen selected a left defenseman in Dayton Anderson. He's from Victoria, West Van Warriors Bantam Prep there, so that's where he played his Bantam hockey there. Keep in mind, a lot of these players that get drafted are still in their teenagers here and be in the system here to eventually play for the Hitmen here. And then the fifth round here, it was 91st overall. We made that pick from the Tri-City Americans here. The Calgary Hitmen selected right winger Hunter Swatka, who's actually close to Calgary in Cochrane. He played his school at the Edge School Bantam Prep there. And then Calgary had three picks in the sixth round here that they made several trades here. So first sixth round pick was 112th overall here, and that pick was acquired from the Moose Jaw Warriors here. The Calgary Hitmen selected a centerman in David Adamzinski from Burnaby. He played at DWC HA Bantam Prep there. So that was the first of three picks in the sixth round there. Second sixth round pick here was the left defenseman here from Calgary, as it was Dax Hughes Williams. That pick that we used came from the Saskatoon Blades here. He played at the Calgary CBHA Bisons, so one of the other midget teams that you see in the Max Midget Hockey Tournament that happens over the holiday season there. You might see some of these players that eventually could play in the junior hockey and maybe in the NHL here. There's been a lot of NHL alumni that played at those Max Midget Hockey Tournaments over the years in Calgary here. So that's one thing I'll highlight here. And then the last pick in the 6th round that the Calgary Hitmen had, 131st overall. This pick was also from the average sub tips in the trade here. Was a right winger, Fiddler-Schultz. He is from Stony Plain, Alberta. He played at PAC Saints BAA. And then the last 2 picks that the Calgary had were their own in the 7th and 8th round here. As the 144th overall here, the Calgary Hitmen selected a goalie in Alex Garrett, who was from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He played at Saskatoon Generals BAA. And then the last pick to wrap up the haul that the Calgary Hitmen drafted in the 2020 Bantam Draft here is left defenseman Ethan Alsip. He is from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and played for the Winnipeg Warriors B1AAA. So those are the 10 players that have been selected by the Calgary Hitmen. So welcome to the Calgary Hitmen. Now, we'll talk about Connor Bedard here. He was granted exceptional player status here, so he was eligible to play in the Canadian Hockey League a year earlier here, as he is from north of Vancouver, British Columbia. And it's basically, if they have qualities both on the ice and off the ice that warrant some exceptional status here, they can be able to play much earlier in junior hockey here. And it's just a review that they do here, so it's not very often they give out exceptional status to players here. And give you an idea on some players that were given exceptional status he comes to first players in the game exceptional status eligibility for the Western Hockey League, so it depends on where the players are from as well here. But here's other players that were granted exceptional status here that have had pretty good NHL careers or continuing have NHL careers right now. A lot of them are in the Ontario Hockey League here. John Tavares, he was granted exceptional status in 2005 here. Aaron Ekblad was granted exceptional status in 2011 here, and John Tavares ultimately was drafted first overall by the New York Islanders then in 2009, now at the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then Eric Ekblad was drafted first overall by the Florida Panthers back in 2014 in the NHL here. And Connor McDavid, he was granted exceptional status in 2012 there, and then he was drafted first overall by the Edmonton Oilers in 2015 here. And then a couple other guys that were granted exceptional status that didn't make it big in the NHL here. Well, there was Sean Day in 2013, and a recent Quebec Major Junior Hockey League grad, Joe Valeno, in 2015 here. And those are other players that were granted exceptional status here that weren't highly picked in the NHL draft here. So sometimes you just never know with some of these, but there's been some generational talents that were granted exceptional status here. So let's keep an eye on Connor Bedard here, as he was drafted first overall by the Regina Pats here. And then the last part of the article I'm reading here is that Shane Wright was granted exceptional player status last season before becoming the first overall pick in the OHL priority selection. So maybe Shane Wright could be another player that you could see get drafted high in an NHL draft in the next couple of years here. So it's definitely very elite to be granted exceptional status to be playing early in junior hockey here. So the last part of this video here is we'll just talk about some player awards here, as we have several player awards here that for the 2019-20 WHL regular season here, as we have the Calgary Hitmen Booster Club Fan Favorite Award, and that went to Carson Fook, who is a property of the Vancouver Canucks here. And then the Humanitarian Award here, definitely does a lot of work out in the community there. That goes to Riley Fiddler-Schultz there. And then the Chrysler Canada Incorporated Scholastic Player Award, that goes to Adam Kidd. And then the 3-Star Selection Award here, this is one of the first awards, going to Mark Kaslik here, And speaking of Mark Kaslick, he was one of the players that have graduated here, actually shortly after the regular season got turfed, as well as the playoffs here. Mark Kaslick actually signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Ottawa Senators, so best of luck to Mark Kaslick there, and I believe he's 5th or 4th all-time in scoring with the Calgary Hitmen as well there. And keep in mind we had guys like Brad Moran and Pavel Brendel too, so Mark Kaslick will definitely always be in at least Calgary hockey history in junior hockey here. So then the other award that we handed out was the Junior Hitman Players' Choice Award. There are some co-workers here that went to both Mark Kaslick again as another award, and Dakota Krebs. So a couple more awards there. Rookie of the Year, well, that went to goalie Braden Peters. I think that was definitely an obvious pick there, as he definitely took the job over from Jack Naughton there. And then the Calgary Coaches Award here, that goes to Dakota Krebs as well. And then when it comes to the Lead Scorer Award, well, we had 2 co-winners here because there was actually a tie in points. But Mark Kaslick got more goals here. So Mark Kaslick and Riley Stotts both get the co-winners in that. And then the Top Defenseman of the Year award, well, we went to Jet Wu. We definitely made a big trade to get him, and in the last offseason there. And then the Player of the Year award goes to Mark Kaslick here. So those are all the Hitman team awards here. So congratulations to all the players that have won awards there, and best luck in your hockey junior journeys here as you continue on, as some of those players have rights with NHL teams there. And as I mentioned, Mark Kaslick is graduating, but he has signed his 3-year standard entry-level deal with the Ottawa Senators there, and he was the first pick in the 5th round in last year's NT draft here. And my plan, what I'll do here, whenever the NHL entry draft gets decided here, that if any Calgary Hitmen players get selected from this year's team, I would mention that in that video here, if either, who knows, maybe a Flame drafted him, or any other team there. That's what I did in those video there last year there. But just definitely some Calgary Hitmen off-season news to share with you here. Just bump up content here, sports content mostly here, and try to get away from all the other stuff that's been going on right now. But of course, always appreciate the support here, and I've definitely been making a lot more secondary content here just so I can keep putting out content. But I like to have sports content to actually talk and recap about here. So, as I mentioned in the beginning there, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, you know what you need to do. Just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and I also have my other social media links down in the description below here. So, as I say, let's go Hitmen, and I'll see you in the next video here.